Is life unfair? That's a question so many people carry deep inside, but few dare to ask out loud. Samantha Ruth Prabhu did she asked Sadhguru, hoping for an answer that would bring some comfort. But what he said might completely change the way you see reality. What if the problem isn't life's unfairness, but the way you perceive it? Most people go through life expecting the world to be fair, as if there's some invisible scale ensuring everything happens in perfect balance. But Sadhguru shatters that illusion with a hard truth. Life isn't fair or unfair, it just is. Nature itself doesn't operate based on human ideas of justice. The sun rises for everyone, but not everyone gets shade. The real problem isn't life, but our expectation that it should work according to what we think is right or wrong. When someone says, "That's not fair," what they're really saying is, life isn't happening the way I want it to. But could that mindset be completely limiting your experience? People who truly understand this stop complaining and start playing the game of life wisely. Imagine two friends starting the same job. One rises quickly while the other feels like a victim of injustice. The first one learns the rules, adapts, invests in themselves, networks, and builds new skills. The second one, stuck in the belief that they deserve more, gets frustrated, but doesn't take action. What happens? The first one thrives, while the second one stays stuck. Life doesn't favor anyone because it's right or wrong. It favors those who know how to play the game. If you're waiting for fairness before taking action, you're sabotaging yourself. So how do you break free from this mental trap? The key isn't waiting for life to change for you, but becoming bigger than any circumstance. Imagine a rough ocean. You can either be a tiny boat, panicking at every wave, or you can be a massive ship, sailing through storms without fear. What's the difference? The size of your being, your ability to face reality without shrinking in front of it. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "How can I grow from this?" And here's the kicker. Many people turn to spirituality for answers, but end up falling into an even bigger trap. They start thinking they're above everything and everyone. But does that really mean they're spiritually evolved? A lot of people step into spirituality seeking growth, but unknowingly fall into a silent trap, spiritual ego. That moment when someone believes that because they meditate, read sacred texts, or follow a guru, they're somehow superior to others. Sadhguru warns this isn't spirituality. It's just another form of arrogance. True spirituality doesn't separate people. It doesn't put a few on a pedestal while the rest are considered lost. If someone feels the need to prove their spirituality to others, that's already a sign that something is off. So, how do you tell the difference between spiritual ego and real growth? One way to recognize this is by observing how someone deals with challenges and criticism. If a person claims to be on a spiritual path, but loses their temper the moment they're questioned, or gets easily offended, they might just be feeding a new kind of ego. It's like that friend who, after reading one book on consciousness, suddenly starts correcting everyone. You need to expand your mind. Oh, you're still stuck in materialism. This isn't growth, it's just a need for validation. A true seeker doesn't try to convince anyone. They simply live authentically, letting their presence speak louder than their words. Real spirituality doesn't need labels or titles. The silence of someone truly connected speaks louder than 1,000 lectures on enlightenment. A real master doesn't have to call themselves a master. Their life already reflects their wisdom. If someone feels superior just because they practice yoga or follow a certain tradition, they've completely lost the essence of being awake. And that's exactly why so many people get lost on this path. They end up using spirituality as a mask to cover their flaws. But the problem doesn't stop there. Some take it even further, turning spirituality into a profitable business. And that's when things stray even further from the truth. Spirituality has always been a path of transformation, but today, many people use it as a highly profitable industry. Spiritual centers pop up on every corner, promising instant enlightenment, miraculous energy shifts, and shortcuts to self-realization. Sadhguru warns that true spirituality can't be sold in pre-packaged deals, and anyone seeking a deeper path needs to develop discernment. India, with its vast spiritual heritage, has become a destination for many seekers, but also a marketplace where authenticity gets mixed with commercialization. And this is where the real danger begins. How do you separate what's real from what's just an illusion? A major red flag is when spirituality is marketed like a magical product. If someone promises that for a specific price, you can unlock your chakras, achieve enlightenment, or manifest anything effortlessly, they're probably more interested in your money than your growth. True masters never impose beliefs or sell empty promises. They simply offer tools for each person to discover their own truth. If spirituality is being used to inflate the ego, or worse, to manipulate people, then it has completely lost its essence. But why do so many people fall into this trap? Because people want quick answers, easy solutions, a shortcut to enlightenment. But there are no shortcuts when it comes to inner growth. The real spiritual path requires commitment, self-reflection, and, most importantly, honesty with yourself. If the search is genuine, the right knowledge will appear at the right time without gimmicks or marketing gurus. The question isn't whether spirituality can be taught, but rather how it's being passed on. And over the last 40 years, this transmission has changed drastically. Are people still seeking spirituality for the same reasons they once did? Over the past 40 years, spirituality has gone through a major shift. In the past, most people turned to it for physical or mental healing, hoping spiritual practices would ease their suffering. But something has changed. Today, many seek spirituality, not just to solve problems, but out of genuine curiosity about existence, consciousness, and the meaning of life. Sadhguru points out that this shift reflects a collective awakening. People don't just want to feel better anymore. They want to understand reality itself. But has this change also brought new challenges? The modern spiritual journey is more focused on direct experience rather than blind faith. In the past, it was common to follow traditions without questioning. But today, people want to live spirituality in an authentic way. This explains the rise in meditation, energy practices, and the growing interest in Eastern teachings. But there's a risk here that this search becomes just another passing trend, a superficial movement with no depth. Learning concepts isn't enough. They have to be practiced and integrated into real life. But how many people actually do that? True spirituality doesn't just happen at retreats or through inspiring books. It shows in how someone handles everyday challenges. Talking about awareness means nothing if someone loses their temper in traffic. Meditating once a week and then living on autopilot the rest of the time isn't transformation, it's just a hobby. The problem isn't the pursuit of knowledge, but the lack of integrity in spiritual practice. And this is a crucial point. How do we ensure that this search is real and not just another label to feed the ego? A lot of people talk about spirituality, but very few actually live it. It's easy to repeat beautiful quotes, share deep teachings, and look enlightened on social media. But as Sadhguru reminds us, true spirituality isn't about appearances, it's about inner transformation. Integrity in spiritual practice means that what you believe and learn must be reflected in your life. If someone preaches inner peace, but constantly lives in conflict, or talks about unconditional love while judging others, then there's a disconnect. Spirituality without consistency is nothing more than an elaborate performance where the main audience is the ego itself. A simple way to test someone's spiritual integrity is to observe their behavior when no one is watching. A person who truly practices what they learn doesn't act differently when they're alone. If the purpose of spirituality is to elevate the self, then that elevation should be visible in the smallest actions: how someone responds to anger, how they treat the people around them, how they handle unexpected challenges. Imagine someone who meditates every day but loses their temper easily at work. That means their practice is only on the surface, it hasn't reached the root. The key isn't just learning, it's applying what has been learned. And this is exactly where most people fail. True spirituality requires real commitment. It's not enough to read about enlightenment or follow a guru if you're not willing to change. It takes challenging habits, questioning behaviors, and observing yourself with complete honesty. Those who genuinely seek growth don't hide behind words, they face their own nature without excuses. And perhaps the biggest test of spiritual integrity is stopping the blame game. How often do people blame karma, destiny, or the universe for their struggles when, in reality, the power to change has always been within them? It's easier to blame karma, the universe, the stars, or even past lives than to take responsibility for your own life. But Sadhguru is clear: everything that happens in your existence has a cause, and that cause is often within you. If someone keeps facing the same problems over and over, it's probably not bad luck, it's a pattern of thoughts and behaviors repeating itself. Life isn't about waiting for something external to fix your challenges, it's about recognizing that your choices, whether conscious or not, are shaping your reality. The first step toward true transformation is letting go of the victim mindset. Think about two people who experience failure. One blames the economy, the government, or those around them. The other asks, "What can I learn from this?" Who do you think grows faster? The second one, because they understand that every experience, good or bad, is an opportunity to evolve. Sadhguru emphasizes that reality doesn't respond to what you think is fair, it responds to what you consistently do. If you want change, wishing for it isn't enough, you have to take action that aligns with that change. But what stops most people from taking that step? Many avoid responsibility because it means there are no more excuses. It means that if life isn't how they want it to be, the only person who can change it is themselves. That can be scary, but it's also incredibly freeing. When you stop waiting for something outside of you to improve your reality and decide to take charge of your journey, everything shifts. But is everyone ready to accept this level of power over their own life? Or do they still prefer to hold on to old narratives where the problem is always outside, never within? If life isn't about fairness or unfairness, but about how you choose to live it, then the real question isn't, "Why is this happening to me?" but "What am I going to do with it?" Are you going to keep waiting for the world to change, or are you going to take control of your own reality? The answer is in your hands. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to keep going on this journey of transformation.